welcome back to the DIY Designer. I'm so glad that you're here. For those of you that are new, my name is Orly. Welcome to my channel. I'm glad that you found me. And for those of you that aren't, I missed you last week. I missed you terribly. I took the week off, which I think was the right call, but I am back this week with a super useful DIY, and I can say that because it came out of my own need. Here in LA, things are starting to open. So we've got restaurants opening up, beaches, stores are opening, and the rule of wearing masks still applies, but it's on like a much busier basis. Like I'm doing more things and I'm really needing the mask all the time. And I realized that some of the masks that I have, which you can see in this video right here, if you guys want to check that one out, I show you how to make your own masks. They're awesome and they fit and they're comfortable and they work, but I'm actually losing them because it's like a glove. Like I wear them and then I take them off when I eat and then I put them in my purse and then I grab my keys and then it falls out without me realizing it. And I've lost like 3 masks already. So I was thinking another option that could be really cool and actually great for kids are those masks that sort of double as like a scarf or a headband and a mask. That way when you're not using it, you either drop it down around your neck and it looks cute, or you wrap it up on your head like a headband. It is so easy and so simple. It's literally like one seam. Next week, I'm so excited because I have a mask tutorial that I've been dying to share. It is a totally no-sew, high fashion mask covers meant to be pure decoration to go on top of your functional mask. It's kind of like that Billie Eilish one that's got those sequins, but it's totally no-sew and you can wear it over your go-to mask, whatever that is. So anyway, that'll be next week. So I hope that you guys will stay tuned for that. You better tune in because it is so good. Let's do materials. Now, one thing I forgot to mention is if you have a cutting mat, a rotary blade, and a ruler, this is gonna come together much easier, but if not, you can use whatever you have on hand. Now, you can see this scrap fabric that I have was actually part of a skirt, which is why all of the edges are rounded. So the first thing I need to do is just square off all of my edges so that I'm just dealing with a simple square piece of excess fabric. Obviously, you can go buy fabric for this, but using up some old items you're no longer wearing is a great way to recycle fabric. So again, rotary blade, ruler, just squaring off my edges. Now, when I open it up, it was folded in half. When I open it up here, you see it's just one long rectangle. I am now gonna fold it in half the opposite way. So I'm gonna fold it in half lengthwise so that it becomes one long, super skinny tube. From this one tube, I can make multiple masks. This is basically the structure of the whole thing. So I pin my edges and now I'm sewing it on a zigzag stitch so that it has that nice stretch because this is super stretchy fabric. Now, reach your hand inside in order to flip the tube inside out. You'll notice on my fabric, the hem is kind of bubbly. I'm gonna need to press that. So if you notice yours is bubbly, don't worry, you can just iron it and that will pretty much disappear. And now it's time to cut them into lengths for our mask. So they're all 8 inches wide, but now we need the length. I think about a minimum of 12 inches is good for a single mask. If you wanna make a double mask, and I'll explain why you might wanna do that in a minute, you just need to cut it double the length, so at least 22 inches. So I have one double mask there. I thought I had enough to create a double and a single. So right here, I'm cutting another double, and what's left over on top is a nice small single layer mask. Now, I also wanted to create one of those sort of tapered neck ones that will allow it to hang down as almost like a cowl neck. So I'm utilizing the curved hem of my fabric. You're not gonna need to create a curved hem if you don't want to, but if you are using up an old dress, an old skirt, use the curved hem. It's gonna work really well. So I line up my curved hem and cut off all the excess that is no longer lining up. Again, I'm gonna use my rotary blade. I wanna cut square edges across the top and kind of nice, clean, angled edges on the bottom. After looking at it, that cone shape was a little too extreme, so I shaved it off a little bit. I'm now just sewing that one seam closed on the side and I end up with basically like a cone shape. You can see the top is finished at 8 inches. The bottom slopes all the way out to about 15 and the total length is about 22 inches tall. So this can work for you no matter how you want to do it there. Now, the last one I wanted was just to create another simple version of the long shape. This is another way that you could do it. Take your fabric and just create one single piece that is 8 by 22. This is a great way to make, again, either a double a double mask that will fold in half where you can hide a filter in it, or you could then cut this little guy in half and end up with 2 masks that give you a little bit more coverage. So you're just gonna sew it down, same as the other one, sew it with a zigzag stitch, flip that little guy inside out, and you're done. I'll show you how these all work. All right, and here they all are. So you can see basically they are all 8 inches across the top. That's what's going around your face. That's a pretty good measurement if they're all stretch. Now for the longer ones, about 22 inches is good. That's not only gonna give you kind of the scarf effect, but it's also gonna allow you to fold it in half if need be. And then the single layer one, that's about an 8 by 10. We're done. I want to show you how these work, and I want to just kind of walk through some of the positive and negatives of each style based off your fabric. Now, first thing let's talk about is the single layer just tube. So it's essentially just a square single layer. This works really well for this fabric because this fabric is pretty thick. So what you would do is you would just put it on just like this. When you're wearing it just like this, it hangs on your neck. It looks really cute. It's almost like a necklace or a scarf. You can see it goes perfectly with my tie-dye tee. I've had this tee forever and I dyed it the other day, and I mean, it couldn't have worked out better. Make sure the seam is in the back and I just pull up. That's it. I pull up, I can talk, I can breathe, I can move. It's not gonna hook on my ears. It's not gonna make my ears hurt at all. This to me is a really easy one. If you do wanna turn this into a headband, let's say I just take it and I just sort of pull it up, you might see like, oh, it actually worked out really well. You can see just the fabric, but because it's single layered, the opposite side of the fabric might show at some point. It works as a headband, a mask, and the kind of little neck piece, which is actually super cute and like kind of becoming a trend now because of this. So this single layer one is really easy, and you're definitely gonna get the most out of your fabric because it's such a small piece, right? Now let's talk about the longer ones. Of all of them, I would say that the tapered one, the longer tapered one, is my favorite. It's the most breathable. So when you take this, you're just gonna grab it. You're gonna make sure the seam is in the back and grab it like this. Now you can see it creates like a really cool kind of draped cowly neck because of the way that it tapers out. Now when it's time, I pull up to a restaurant, I'm going to the market, I just take it and I'm done. The reason that I like this the most is because it's tightest right here, it's giving me the coverage I need to kind of protect from the top. Because it's heavier on the bottom, right here, it's also sort of protecting anything from the bottom. It's giving me a lot more coverage than I have on all the other ones because of the way that it kind of keeps everything inside. It is also more comfortable because it's tapered out. So I have more breathing room here in my mouth, which is ideal and super important. This isn't one you would wear as a headband. This one really goes from scarf to mask. This is my favorite. This is the one that I'm gonna recommend the most. The last one I wanna show you guys is the one super tall, skinny one, right? It's just one giant rectangle, 8 inches wide by 22 inches tall. This is gonna work really well if you have a super thin fabric, and that's for 2 reasons. First one I'm gonna show you is we're gonna put it on just like normal. Okay, so here it is. It's got a nice big kind of thick cowl neck because again, it's super long and it's got that cool look. I do love the way it looks like this. If I wanted to just grab it now and wear it up, it's good. I'm single layer, I can breathe. I've got the extra kind of thickness here around the neck to make sure that nothing gets in. So it's great just like this. If your fabric is super thin, the reason this is cool is because you can fold it in half and actually slide a filter in it. That's the thing about this that I think is great if you're working with a super thin fabric. Basically, you're gonna fold it in half like this. You'd line up your edges, right? I folded it in half lengthwise, so it's double the thickness. Now, when you pull it up, you could, if you wanted, put a filter in between the 2 layers. So right here, you would put your filter and then you would put this down, and because it's snug and it fits you right, it's gonna hold it in place. Same thing would happen here when you're wearing it as a headband, except it actually provides even more lift. So basically I'll flip my head, I will just pull it up. You can wear it like this where you're not seeing your hairline. It can be used as almost like a sweatband when you're working out if you want. I wouldn't then use it as a mask, you know, but you can make multiples. Or you can pop it back so you see your hairline and kind of tease the back and wear it as more of a traditional headband. All right, guys, so that is it. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope it'll be useful for you. Rummage through your drawers looking for old t-shirts. If you guys like this video, I really hope that you will subscribe to the channel, click the like button, and even more, if you guys can click that notifications bell so you do get a notification when a new video comes out, like next week's, which your mind's gonna explode. When you realize the technique I use for the no-sew aspect of this, you're gonna wanna do it to like everything. It's a really cool hack and I can't wait to share it. So I hope that I'll see you all here next week for another great video. I hope you all stay safe and have a beautiful week. Mwah!
See you soon.